Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Edeline, the editor of 12080 magazine, and with me today we have Jack, a pharmacist and treasurer of the Malaysian Pharmaceutical Society. Jack is also a coordinator of the Face Mask Initiative for the society itself. So this week we will be clarifying the myths and truths about face masks. In the past, when we stepped out, we needed just our wallet, phone, and keys. But today, face masks have been included into this list too. But there are still many questions about this new essential. And Jack is here to help us out to understand face masks better. So Jack, firstly, could we start with telling us, is it true that wearing a face mask could put a person at risk of carbon dioxide poisoning?
That's a good question. There's a lot of online noise about this over the past few weeks, especially a lot of conspiracy theories. Yeah. So the answer to that is it is actually partly true, but not in the manner it's been spread around. To understand this question, you must first understand that there are a lot of masks out there. There is the simple cloth mask, there are surgical masks, the three-ply mask you hear about, and there's the N95 respirators. Okay, so can wearing face masks alter the carbon dioxide level for the wearer? Yes, it's possible, but it's highly unlikely for people who wear cloth masks and surgical masks, the three-ply masks. It's for those that are having a long-term use of the N95 mask, the N95 respirators, like the healthcare professionals that require. There is evidence in the last SARS epidemic in Singapore where there was a study done that health professionals were getting headaches because their carbon dioxide level was going up because they were wearing N95 masks for like hours and hours at end. Oh. Yeah, so generally that's not a problem for you if you're wearing a simple three-ply mask.
Okay, yeah. All right. So, so is it safe to say that it's safer to wear like a three-ply disposable and cloth mask for everyone instead of the N95?
Well, if you have an N95 mask, you can wear it, but make sure that you're not wearing it for a long period. Like when you're a health professional, you may wear it for 4 or 5 hours, and you're all suited out, so you can't take it out. And that's why they are exposed to this condition called hypercapnia, which is actually where CO2 levels will increase in the blood. Okay. But generally, when you're breathing, it's fine. It's not an issue. Yeah.
Okay. All right, got it. And but then could face masks affect one's oxygen intake and cause breathing difficulties?
Well, this question is similar to the answer with the CO2 level. Yeah, you can. It's like this. It's more of it really depends on the mask, and it also depends on you as the person wearing the mask. Okay. If you have breathing difficulties or you're having you're worried or you're having headache or something like that with the mask, then it's time for you to take it off because it does provide a barrier against breathing. Yeah. So generally speaking, if you are performing strenuous activities like exercising, climbing stairs, you just monitor your breathing. If you're out of breath, then stop and recover. Okay. And that's fine. Yeah. So it doesn't really affect the breathing most of the time, but to sensitive groups, sometimes you may have that issue. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And there's information going around as well that if you're well, you have to wear the mask the blue way out, right? And if you're unwell, then the mask has to be worn the other way around. So is this true? And what's the logic behind this?
Okay. So first thing first, the information is not true. Okay. That doesn't it doesn't apply at all. Actually, the moral of the story: do not wear your mask inside out. Okay, and more importantly, follow the instruction of the manufacturer. I myself, I don't have it with me now. My mask is white on the outside and colored on the inside.
Okay.
Okay, but the manufacturer put it this way, and there are masks that have white on white. There's no differences in color. Yeah. So there are many different masks. So the main thing is look at the box and see how they're wearing it on the box, or follow the instruction of the manufacturer. You see, so okay, so let me explain why this doesn't make sense. Because when you talk about the 3 layers of the mask, it's the three-ply mask you're referring to. The outer layer and the inner layer doesn't filter. It is the middle layer. The filter layer is in the middle layer.
Okay.
So the outer layer and the inner layer is actually to protect the filter layer from whether it's water, okay, or maybe it's an absorbent. So generally, if you look at your mask, your outer layer is more water resistant, and your inner layer is more absorbent, so that it sits better on your face, and it's more less. It makes it's more comfortable to wear. Put it this way, yeah. So
Okay.
it doesn't matter whether which direction you're wearing it. There's no truth to that.
Okay. All right. Thanks for clarifying. And as for children, how young can they put on a face mask, and what would be the most appropriate type of mask for them to use?
Okay. For children, there actually there are two levels of recommendations. Organizations like the Center for Disease Control in the US, CDC, all the major health organizations. Number one is, as a rule, you do not let children below 2 years of age to wear any mask. Okay, that's because children below that age, they can't complain. They're not very good at complaining, and they don't actually understand what's happening. Okay, so never put the mask on them. A lot of manufacturers do not recommend their mask to be worn for children less than 5 years of age.
Okay.
Yeah, yes. So, so the main thing is that you need to make your child understand why they are wearing the mask, and if they have any issues with breathing or they are short of breath, please tell you so that you can actually make sure that any issue coming up is just a matter of warning signals. Yeah. So like I said, a lot of manufacturers say 5 years and below, you shouldn't wear a mask. So it's always better to keep your child socially distant, take other efforts to actually keep your child safe rather than wearing the mask.
Okay.
As for the suitability, the type is whatever fits actually. There are a lot of 3-ply masks. There are children version of it. Okay, the normal 3-ply mask is too big for children, so it doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit, that air leakage coming from the top and the bottom. So there's no reason. It doesn't help the child at all because it doesn't protect.
Yeah.
So if you have a child-sized mask that fits the face, then that's good enough. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And then as for adults, like working adults, for example, who have to wear the mask all day, how often should they change it? Can it last throughout the whole day, one disposable mask?
Okay. That depends on the mask you have.
Okay.
The quality of the mask. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't last as long. So generally, I think the Ministry of Health recommends that if you wear a mask, don't wear it for more than 8 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the limit. However, there are a few things else to look at it. Remember, number one is the face mask, not a chin mask.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of people wearing the mask on their chin. That doesn't make sense at all. In fact, you're contaminating the mask. So then number two is that when you wear it, if it gets soggy or wet, then it's time for you to change it. Okay, and that depends on different people. Some people, when they breathe or they talk, it gets wet, then you should change the mask. And of course, the last bit of it is most of the masks are single use.
Okay.
So if you are wearing it for 3-4 hours, let's say in the morning, then you have to take it out for lunch or whatever. Don't put back the same mask. Get a new one, a fresh one instead.
Okay.
Yeah, and so these are the things that you need to put into perspective of how long you should wear a mask. Because wearing a mask is a dangerous thing actually. Because what you do is that you're wearing it the whole day. It's actually filtering out the particles from the outside and the particles from the inside. So when you take it off, you don't throw it away. You put it back on. You're not sure whether the particles from the outside will touch your face or whether you introduce. So it defeats the purpose of wearing the mask. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And now there's the option of disposable masks and cloth masks and so on. What is the best way to maintain reusable masks? And also, is it safe to just sun dry? Because I drive around the neighborhood and I see people hanging their face masks with packs under the sun, I'm guessing to disinfect. So is that effective enough, or how to take care of the masks?
Let me answer you the sun question first.
Okay.
So this has been asked a lot of times. Actually, you can use UV light to disinfect masks. That's actually being done in certain facilities where they reuse masks. But let's put it this way: our sun is a less than reliable UV light ray supplier. So if it rains or you have cloudy, and then the light level drops. Okay. If you ask me how long do you leave it and in the mask to disinfect, I would say 72 hours.
Wow. Okay.
Why 72 hours? Because that's actually a trick answer. Because the scientific study that shows that the viral particles of COVID-19 actually gets inactivated about 72 hours on hard surfaces and all that. So if you leave it out there, it will disinfect over time.
Okay.
Yeah, because the particles doesn't last that long. But all in all, I wouldn't recommend that because you need to use your mask more often. If you talk about the cloth mask, how do you? So most likely when you see it, when you drive around, you see it hanging. There's another step before that. Okay, so for cloth mask, you can actually wash them.
Okay.
You wash them with normal detergent and clean warm water. If you are using a washing machine, make it a separate load from your normal clothing. You just put the mask in there. Make sure that if your washing machine is capable, have a hot water cycle.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, but if not, what you do is that you wash it in the basin with warm water, with soap, and you make sure it's done for about a minute or so. Okay. About the same amount of time you use to wash your hands. Okay. Yes. What they're teaching you to wash your hands. So then it will actually be able to break down any virus particles on the mask. But that's only part one. Okay, the part one that you didn't see. The part two is actually to dry. Drying is very important.
Okay.
So because we're in Malaysia, we have a lot of sunlight. Drying out in the sun is great. You dry for an hour or so under the sun. After you wash it, you should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, but for those that doesn't have that luxury of space to hang it outside, you can use a hot iron as well to iron it. That helps. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's interesting.
Yeah,
and,
more or less. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And lastly, just curious, could you share with us the face mask initiative that the MPS is taking, the one that you're coordinating?
Oh, okay. So what we did was the MPS actually were gathering feedback from pharmacies. I'm not sure whether many knows this, but pharmacy services and community pharmacies continued on throughout the MCO period. There was no stoppage of that essential service, and so we have a lot of community pharmacy frontliners out there. And in the beginning of the MCO, because of that fluctuation in mask prices and the issue with the supply, there were a lot of pharmacies that didn't have that mask to protect themselves as frontliners. So the MPS we actually purchased about 200,000 masks, and we have been giving it out 100 masks per premise for their staff to use since the MCO until now. So far we have given out about 140,000 masks.
Wow.
And we'll continue giving so to all the community pharmacy frontliners out there. Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. All right.
It's a small thing that we can do for our frontliners to protect them.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, that's the end of our interview session. Thank you so much, Jack, for this insightful session. And
no worries.
To our viewers, I do hope that we have given you a clearer understanding about face masks. Before we end, we would like to remind you to stay healthy and stay home. Take care.